Welcome back to another episode of Rocks with Me. It's Roxy, and this is the second episode of the series, Love Every Lynch of You. So, of course, here is the fiance along with me.
What's up, y'all?
And like I begin all my episodes, I want to remind you all, you guys are resilient, you guys are remarkable, and I am proud of you. Now, in this episode, we're going to discuss our engagement. We are exactly 30 days away from our wedding date. Are you excited? You better be excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Like for real?
Nah, like I'm playing. Yes, for real.
I'm super excited.
I know. When you say super, it really means it.
It does. So last episode, we discussed how we met. And this one, we're going into the engagement. When was it that you knew you wanted to propose to me?
Well, I always wanted to propose to you. You always try to find a perfect moment, but with this woman, there is no perfect moment because she senses stuff and she tries to figure stuff out all the time. So it's like there's no surprise in this woman. So you have to like really literally like have it planned days ahead of time so that you're not talking about it or doing anything to possibly hint that that's what you're doing on the day of. So I had to basically plan this out and she messed it up a couple times.
I know of one time I messed it up.
Okay. You done? All right. So I'm gonna tell the story because nobody can tell it better than I can. So I had planned on having, well, we had planned on having everyone there to experience the moment. So I knew that it would have to be some type of gathering that we naturally do with our family and friends. We don't always do gatherings with our family and friends. Most of the time, it's either family or friends, or some family and some friends. We like to have these gatherings so that we can talk to our friends that we haven't seen in a while. We both work a lot, so it's not easy for us to be able to speak to our friends and stuff like that like we want to because we all work different hours. So we like to have these gatherings in order to catch up on things and to keep those friendships and bond. So I had decided, like I usually do, like, hey, it's about to start getting cold. So we basically decided on a day. I put out like a group chat to like everybody, like keep it quiet. I want everybody there. And we're doing this cookout really so that I can propose to her and so that everybody will be there to see it. And she won't know what hit her because it's just like any other time where we just do a cookout and everybody's over and we just have fun and talk and chat and play games and stuff like that. So I think it was the day of or the day before.
When I ruined it?
Yeah.
No, it was the week before.
Go ahead.
Let me intervene and say why.
She wants to say why.
So like he mentioned, it's either we have family over or we have friends over. We don't really mesh the two for some reason. Do you think it's because we're a certain way with family and we're a certain way with our friends?
Yes, but I think it's more so you, the way you are with your family and the way you are with your friends, because it is primarily her family. We're all a family, yes, but it is primarily her family, her father and her mother. And so like we don't want to make it feel like, you know, one side's getting more attention than the other. Yeah.
So the week before that cookout that we were planning with our friends, he tells me, invite your family over, which we never do. So that's what gave it away for me because I was like, what do you mean invite like with just my brother and sisters or my parents? And you're like, no, everybody, have all your family come.
I didn't make it that big of a deal when I said it because I don't make anything a big deal when I say it. Or more along the lines of you should invite your family too. We can have everybody over, you know, because it's the last cookout of the year. I didn't make it that big of a deal. She tries to make it that big of a deal to make it seem like it's okay that she ruined the surprise, but I didn't make it that big of a deal because obviously I didn't want to make it that big of a deal so that I didn't lead her on to think that that's when I was going to propose to her because she knew I was going to propose to her. She just didn't know when.
Well, so the thing about it is I knew it was coming. Did I ever give you an ultimatum though?
No.
Because I already knew you had that in your mind to ask me. It was just
you don't give no man or no woman an ultimatum, okay? You can say, you know what? I waited long enough. That's it. I don't feel like you're going to do it, so then let's just end this. Or you could say, okay, well, I'll wait a little bit longer because I feel like he's going to do it. There is no ultimatum. You don't play with people's lives and what people's faiths are going to be like that. You're not God.
So then for people out there that give their partners ultimatums, what would you tell them? Like what should
People out there that give their significant others ultimatums are people that know that their partners procrastinate, or that they're a player, or that they cheat, or that they're doing this, or that they don't want to be committed, or they've already talked about this. They already know how the other person is. So they try to like
force that change.
They try to entice the relationship and make things better and say, well, like, are you going to do it or not? If you're going to do it someday, then okay, let's continue. If not, then we need to end it right here and right there. Like they already have that feeling in their relationship that like, okay, it's not going to happen. But in our relationship, it's different because we're constantly progressing.
That's true.
We don't move in. We do it with each other right then and there. We wait. We date. I meet the kids. They like me. They don't like me. I meet your parents. I meet your family. You meet my family. You meet my daughter. There are certain steps that have to be taken to show that you're wanting to get that commitment. If you're taking those steps, but you're not both on the same page that you want to commit, then that's when ultimatums come up. But we already had in our head set that we wanted to get married. It was just me getting out of the military and us being together and making sure that this is really what we wanted, and to make sure that our families would agree with each other and that our children loved us. That is what made it a commitment and not an ultimatum.
That our children loved us as one whole
yes.
unit. For me, my mentality at that point was, why are you having me plan it if you're going to propose to me? And that's what got me upset.
You didn't plan nothing, first off.
It's how I felt.
No.
Because once you said, tell your family. And
because you have a family chat. It's so much easier for you to say, hey, we're having a cookout, we're inviting friends, would you guys like come over?
I'm going back to that day that you asked me. That's when I told you what, so you could propose to me? And then your face was what gave it away for sure. Do you remember?
The point is, everyone, this woman gets on my nerves all the time, every day, other day. That's just the way it is, okay? You're not going to be in a marriage or a relationship and it'll be perfectly fine, okay? There are plenty of other people that will do the same stuff that she does, and I don't care because I don't necessarily care to let them affect my day. This woman affects everything, okay? That's how I know I care for her, because if I didn't, I would just brush it off and be like, okay, I don't care. But it affects me, and she knows it does. So she uses it against me, even though she'll tell you she doesn't.
I don't understand how you do.
Yeah, the point is, instead of her just being like, you know what? Okay, maybe it's a new thing. Maybe he just wants to invite everybody over. All right, cool. Well, invite everybody over. But her version of it is, why do I got to do all this work if he wants to propose to me? Why do I got to do this? Well, it's easier for you to talk to your family than it is me. Second off, if I start talking to her family, then she can be like, why are you talking to all my family? So then I get all these questions. She questions everything. So in order for her to not think that I was going to propose to her, I involved her into the plan. If she's involved in the plan, then she doesn't know that I'm planning something to propose to her. Everything was already on board. Everybody was like, yeah, we'll come. The family was like, yeah, we'll come. But she ruined it by saying, oh, what? Are you going to propose to me? She knew what she was doing. And then afterwards, then she saw, like, damn, he really was trying to propose to me. And I just messed it up by being nosy and trying to ask all these questions like I always do. I had to make sure the next time that, like, I didn't say anything to her.
Which he didn't.
So we ended up not having that cookout. And she walked around mad at me because it was my fault that she found out that I was going to propose to her and that she said that I was going to propose to her. So even though it was her fault, I'm the one, zoom in camera, because I'm the one that got it. I'm the one that got everything. And then her friends were like, oh, you're so mean. Like, he was trying to do something nice. He was trying to propose you, surprise you.
I did apologize.
She didn't really apologize like she say, because like I said, she didn't want to be the one in trouble. Because she loves me dearly.
I do.
She loves me dearly.
And
she doesn't want to be the one in trouble. She doesn't want to be the one to ruin everything. But she did. And instead of admitting that, she wanted to seem like I had did something wrong. so that she came out clean because she's a princess. But you're not a princess when you get old as shit. Anyway,
Babe.
no, princesses are for kids. Anyway,
So then I'm a queen.
okay, we'll say that. But you want to play like you're a princess,
What's
but
the
we too old
difference?
for that. A princess is a young person. A queen is somebody of older stature.
So I wasn't playing like a princess. I was being a queen, the
Whatever.
queen that I am.
Anyway,
Right?
anyway,
Right?
whatever.
Right?
I'm talking and telling a story. Is that okay with you? You messing up
Yes.
this whole episode.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
I've already told you you're a queen.
Okay.
I tell you all the time. I treat you like you're a queen.
Okay,
You
go
just want to
on.
hear it.
And that's okay too.
Anyway, so I decided that if I was going to propose to her, I only had a certain amount of time because we already knew that we wanted to give ourselves a year to save up and then pay for everything and then have the wedding. So the second time I started trying to propose, I knew that like I couldn't tell certain people and that I could only tell other people. We have a son, Miles. He
Our youngest.
is such a sweet person, such a kind, crazy human being. He's an upcoming young man and he's going to be a great person someday, which he is already a great person, but he'll be even greater one day. Bless his heart. But you can't tell that kid anything because he'll either tell somebody or he'll hint at things. And he doesn't realize that, like, me proposing to his mother is a big thing that doesn't need to be told to anybody. So I just knew that I had to let one of the boys know so that they could be there if the moment was needed to, like, step in or say something to throw somebody off, like they could know. So I knew I can only trust KO with that because
Which is our middle child.
yes, because he's older and he knows what it means to surprise somebody. He knows what it means to propose to someone because I tried to talk to him about it as much as I possibly can. We had already talked about rings and all that. We already had a ring and everything. So I was already saving up for that and I had already bought it and purchased it. And I let her know the day that I purchased it so that she could be on her best behavior and start treating me nicely and know that commitment is on the way, but it's not going to be when she wants it to be because it's not her decision.
I do treat you nicely.
It's not necessarily her decision on when I propose. Okay. It's not, these are not things that need to be like, oh, this has to be perfect. This has to be perfect. This has to be like this. This has to be like that. And I'm gonna act surprised. Like you don't want that. Like
You don't want it
you want the
staged.
woman to know that yes, you are committed because you did buy the ring. You're gonna propose, but you don't want them to know the day of, and you don't want them. You don't want fake. You don't want fake emotions. You want real emotions. So I had already proposed. I had already. I'm sorry. I had already picked out the ring, got it, and everything. I had to hide it in my own truck because I knew if I put it anywhere else, she ended up finding it. And I only told one person where that ring was. I took a picture of it and showed all her friends because I knew that they could keep a secret. But I just wanted to take a picture of it and show them that, like, yes, I have the ring. I'm trying to find the right time to propose. Keep it a secret. And only Mikhail knew where the ring was. So I knew that if I went there and the ring wasn't there was only one other person that knew about it that could have it. And so on and so forth. That's when I knew that, like, okay, apparently me trying to get her to, like, talk to her family and friends and invite them over, she's going to automatically think something. And I need to get as many people as I can, but I can't make everybody happy. So I decided that I was just going to do it with her family around. And then we would let her friends know later on. And I also knew that they wanted to see how I did it and how it all came about. So I said, okay, we need to have some type of proof. So this needs to be filmed. But this needs to be filmed without her knowing that it's being filmed because then she's going to think it's a proposal. And I don't need that. I need real emotion. I don't need fake emotion. I talked to her mom, and her mom is, they're like, they are just alike. They don't like to admit it. Her mom likes to admit it, that they're alike, but she doesn't. I mean, yeah, there's maybe some bad qualities that you don't want or whatever, but I think her mother has a lot of good qualities in her. She's a very caring and loving person. So I had to get her mom involved because she's like her dad's working all the time. So her mom's like there really to get everybody together and to let everybody know what's going on. Don't worry, before all of this, I had already talked to her dad and got his blessings
But
and
to be
made sure.
honest, didn't you talk to my dad like months before?
I talked to her dad a long time before that, just to make sure that that's something that he was okay with and that thought that that was the right move for us to make, because you always want to ask somebody that has more experience than you, and also it's her father. You always want to talk to the father and the mother just to make sure that like they feel the same way you do and they think that that's the right step to take. Sometimes they can see things that you can't. So they might see that like their daughter or son maybe isn't ready to be married or whatever. But when I talked to her father, he was like, I said, I want to marry your daughter, and I want her and the boys I want us to all be a family. And I don't see myself without her. And I know a lot of people say that, yeah, I can live without you, but I don't want to live without you. There's a difference in needing someone and wanting someone. And I don't need you. I want you.
I tell you the same thing all the time.
There are going to be times where I do need you, but I don't want to be with you because I need you. I want to be with you because I want to be with you. And so her father was like, I think he was a little stunned that I asked him that, but I think he loved it and was like, yes, like that's what we want. We want y'all to be together, and I'm so happy that you came to me and talked to me about it.
Can I just say,
Go ahead.
my parents love him so much to the point where they don't tell him, hey, you better be treating Roxy right. They tell me, hey, you better be treating Sherman right.
Yeah.
Because they know how I can be. And they have made comments. And I think my friends have also made comments that once you've came into my life, they saw a change in me.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure it's the same way for me too. My family feels the same way. Like they want me to make sure I'm treating her right, and they want to be involved in those anything, in everything that's small or whatever, and they just want to know that you're happy. And my family was telling me the same thing. My grandma was like, you better be treating her right, getting on me. But it's like, I feel like they're getting on me because I already do it. And that's just how I am. And that's just how I was raised. People want to see you genuinely happy, not just putting on a show. And that's what we have. We don't sugarcoat anything. I mean, there's stuff that stays between me and her or whatever. And, but I let everybody know that like this woman is crazy. All right. I think and I know she's crazy.
A good kind of crazy.
But I love her. I know that times are not always good. We're not always going to be happy with each other at times, but I love you. I know we're going to argue. I know we're going to fight. We're going to have disagreements. We both are Aries, so I don't know about her so much. I think she is, but her past relationships, she's just not had that chance. But now she's more able to take that leadership role. But I've always been a leader. Like I don't like to follow what anybody else is doing unless I think that they're doing the right thing. I would rather take something and figure it out for myself than to follow somebody that's done it and had success. Or if I see somebody that's done it and had success, I take it and I make it into my own. And I know that you in your past relationships, you weren't able to like, not necessarily not stand up for yourself, but you weren't able to just like be yourself and let it all out.
I think I lost myself.
Yeah.
In my last marriage.
She had to play another role and act like she didn't have feelings and stuff like that.
Yeah. And during the healing process, I started finding parts of me that I had like kind of buried. And then with you, you brought out the best of me, as cliche that sounds.
And the worst. She evil people.
So I'm Hispanic. I'm his panic. Get it?
So corny, people. But that comes with it.
I think we make each other better.
Yeah. So basically, I went about going to propose to you the second time, and I told your family I wanted to do it. I didn't want to take away from any holiday or anybody's birthday or anybody's anniversary or anything like that. I just wanted to do it and make it as normal and usual as possible. So around the holidays, like I haven't always been able to attend like these gatherings with you and your family because I was in the military and they like to do exercises and training and stuff around the
Where you were
holidays.
deployed.
Yeah. So I wasn't able to spend holidays with them. So this was the first like Christmas time that I was able to like spend with her and her family. So I wanted to make sure I did it on the day that was just like any other day. So we had her sisters both there, her niece, her brother-in-law. I think her brother was working.
Yeah, he was working.
But he knew about it. And her dad was there. Her mom was there. The boys were there. And so basically I made it seem like we were going to just all do family photos. And so, like
he was smart about it though.
Yeah.
Because he's not the one that said we should take pictures because obviously
I don't like taking pictures.
I was just gonna say
I don't like taking pictures.
Like taking pictures. And me, I love taking pictures. And it's mainly because of how many people I've lost in my life that all I have left are memories and pictures. And because my memory is not the greatest, I fall back on all these pictures, which is why I love like capturing documenting everything, which I think now with this podcast is another outlet for me to like say my stories and stuff like that. But he came about it in a smart way, because if he would have been the one to suggest the picture taking, I would have been like, oh, are you proposing all over again? So in the family group chat that he mentioned I have with my parents and my sisters and my brother, my sister, who just had a baby that year, it was December, so she was what, a couple months, like 4 months or something?
Usually that's what it is, babe.
She sent in the family chat like, hey, since we're all getting together on Saturday, can you guys be semi like dressed up, like look presentable? Because I want to take the baby pictures with everybody because we got her a new Christmas outfit. And she was like, we have so many cute outfits for Christmas that we want to document her Christmas outfits. And I was like, okay, cute, baby's first Christmas, whatever. I told him and I told the boys, hey, we got to look presentable because we're going to be taking pictures with our niece. Let's make sure we look nice. And the boys ended up just shorts and a shirt, right? Like they didn't dress up. I put on a flannel and jeans. You had a shirt and jeans, but like your nice jeans and your Tims. I remember when I showed up to my parents, everybody was already there. And I remember telling my sister, like, sorry about the boys, that's as best as they're going to dress up. Like, because it's not Christmas, they're not going all out. Because it's not Thanksgiving, they're not going all out. She was like, oh no, that's fine. And apparently they had set up a phone. So the way my parents' house is set up, they have like a bar. So on that bar, they had set up a phone to record, and I didn't catch that.
I didn't either, but I mean, you catch everything, so it must have been really good hidden.
And the camera they were using was an actual like camera, not like just taking pictures with the phone type of thing.
Phone is a camera, but
you know what I'm talking about, like an actual Canon camera. And so she put the baby with my parents and took them a picture. Then she had the boys join, so it was my parents with all their grandchildren, took them a picture. Then my sister, my other sister, who's the godmother, taking a picture with the niece. And then my sister and her husband and her daughter, my niece, taking a picture. And then it was our turn. And it didn't click to me that she didn't hand us the baby. It was our turn to take a picture.
Yeah, because all this had already went on. So you already like
I was just I wasn't even paying attention. I just got up. Okay, let's take a picture. So the boys were in the picture. And then she's like, cute. She's like, okay. And we were all doing this in front of the Christmas tree. And then she said, okay, boys, now just move aside now that just them. And I was like, okay. And then we took a picture. And then you said, hold on. And I thought like You were just gonna fix your shirt or something.
I actually said, hold on, something's missing. And I went into my pocket and she wasn't paying attention so much
Because I was
that
fixing my hair.
I was able to like get the ring out of my pocket, turn around, face her, get on the knee, and you can keep going because
Waterworks.
you're gonna like tell the whole story
I
anyway.
started crying and I don't cry. And then I started saying stop.
Yeah, she crazy.
But I meant
Who the
like,
hell
oh
does
my
that?
gosh, like
Who
I
the
can't
hell
believe
said
it stopped.
stop in the middle of a proposal?
It's like when someone tells
And
you, shut
it
up,
wasn't like
like that.
stop. Like it was like stop, stop. Like and I was like, no, I'm not gonna stop. I love you, but yeah, you get on my nerves, and so go ahead.
It sounded like that kind of stop because I was crying.
She's ugly when she cry. I'm
That's why I
sorry.
don't always cry.
I tell her that all the time.
That's why I don't always cry. And I'm surprised I did cry.
And this was on video.
And but I didn't know. But I didn't know. But I'll post the video so they could see.
Okay. You want to finish telling?
So he went on down one knee, and in between the stops, I heard him say, "You make me so happy. You make me so mad. You're the only person I want to do this with. Will you marry me?"
You gotta tell women the truth. Okay. Don't let them think that everything is perfect and they do everything right. Because then they're gonna think, oh, you told me I do everything right. You nope, you tell them the truth. If they piss you off, you piss me off. You make me mad. But that don't mean that we can't be in a relationship. But I'm gonna let you know every step of the way, you know, so that later on down the road, when I tell you you crazy, you know I've already told you that a million times, so it's not like I'm lying. So yeah, I ended up proposing to her. She said yes, ugly crying. And yeah, we just went from there. So yeah, you really got to put some work into it. Nothing ever goes the way you think it's gonna go. So planning only can go so far, but things are gonna happen. People are gonna be different. People are gonna say different things. So just take that with a grain of salt and know that like nothing's ever gonna be perfect. But you want to make it a special moment for everybody that can be there to witness it. Like I said, we made sure it was recorded so that her friends and everybody else that wasn't there was still able to like feel like they had some part into it because they saw the video themselves. From there, we just started planning and talking about everything, and
Yes.
everything went from there.
After the fact, like when we were like in retrospect, when we were looking back on that day that we got engaged, everything started clicking because my mom was so adamant on when are we gonna take the pictures? When are we gonna take the pictures? Because she knew that was gonna be the moment he was gonna propose to me.
Either way, y'all, we took the pictures and I proposed. So yeah, like we were saying, like there's steps to things, and when those steps need to be implemented and where you should go from there. There's no perfect way to do any of that. You just have to know and you just have to do it. Sometimes people procrastinate and then they lose the opportunities. So you have to steal those moments and do it when it fits you best possibly. Okay. So that's what I did. And thank God I did it when I did because probably wouldn't have had another chance. And then you get you're not going to propose to me. You're never going to propose to me. You told me you're going to propose to me. And this one will not let you live it down. Every time you get into an argument, that proposal will be brought into it. She laughs, but it's true.
Were you nervous when you said, hold on, I'm forgetting? We're missing
No,
something.
I just knew I had to like confuse you for a second because you think you know it all. So I knew I had to confuse her for a second because she's a little slow sometimes. She don't process everything. So I knew if I like told her like, oh, hold on, she'd be like, oh, okay, and then she start talking to everybody else and then forget what even happened. So that's what happened.
So I will say, after the proposal, after we were engaged, after we announced it to people and to friends and to family, and then posted it on social media and stuff. After that, I wanted to continue to show off that I was engaged.
She do too much.
You want to know why I do too much though? Because this is the real deal. This, I know for a fact, this engagement is like legit. This marriage is going to be for real. This love that we have is like genuine and good. The way he treats me is something that I deserve. the goodness in this is what I deserve. So me showing off every chance I have that I'm engaged is because even though I've been married before, it was never like this.
She
So
wants me to look at her and smile so we can have that little moment, but I'm not.
so when I released the first episode of this series, Love Every Lynch of You, on Spotify, there was an option to like submit questions that you wanted us to answer in future episodes. I also did a story on the Instagram page of Rocks With Me podcast where it asked like what questions you want. And this is something we'll probably continue. That way we just continue answering questions from our listeners. So we're going to answer a couple questions that have already came in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So the first one from Renessa, who was a guest on this podcast. How do you withstand all the trials and tribulations and stay in love? She made a note to put, because staying in love these days is rare.
She doesn't like it, but she likes to hold on to her feelings a lot, and I understand that's just the way she is. Me, on the other hand, I like to okay, that was yesterday. It happened. We're going to go past that. We're going to move past that. That's nothing. We've been through worse. I think it's doing the little things. We can get into an argument and I'm okay at the end of the night, but she's still upset about it. And the next day, she forgets and she's happy, but then she remembers and then she's upset again. But me letting her know that okay, I'm not going to let this weigh down our marriage. She expects me to come into the room mad and still arguing about it and we still talk about it or whatever. But me, I'm more like, no, I'm not going to waste today talking about what happened yesterday. I'm going to make today a new day. So the little things, making sure you still, even if we're mad at each other, we still make sure that we try to, if we're going to be gone or something like that, or every time I leave the house or every time she leaves the house, we make sure we tell each other we love each other. There are those times where we don't. And that shouldn't happen, but it happened. More so, we make sure that we tell each other that we love each other and that we'll be back. Because you never know, you could walk out of the house and go for a walk and then nobody ever sees you again. And the last thing you said to each other was nothing, So we always try to make sure that we tell each other we love each other. We try to live every day like it's different because every day is different. And then we just steadily bouncing ideas off of each other, new things that we could do, new things that we can try. She's a great person, but unfortunately, a lot of us, we procrastinate sometimes. So it's good to have one person in that relationship that pushes things.
Do I push things?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I wasn't done. She procrastinates a lot, so I push her on a lot of stuff. And even though she gets mad, I don't care. If you don't have somebody that's going to push you, you shouldn't be in a relationship with that person. If you have somebody that just wants to stay where they're at and just be okay with that, I mean, yeah, at a certain age, maybe after you retire, okay, cool. But you should still have those little goals and things that you want to do as a couple and as a family and as a person to better yourself. So I push her a lot and she might not like it, but in the end of the day, she can say that we're progressive as a couple. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't got the money for that, or I don't got the time for that, or whatever. And she still pushes me and it pisses me off. Yeah. But I end up doing it. Or I say, yeah, you're right. And then we do it. You have to constantly push each other. And you're not going to always be happy that you push each other. But at the end of the day, if you're not pushing each other, then are you really moving anywhere as a couple? So you have to constantly push each other.
Like a give or take.
Yeah. And keep it lively. Everything that she does that pisses me off, I tell her. She might not like it. We might get into an argument. We might not talk for the rest of the night, but it's better to let each other know when something bothers you right then and there, whether it's going to make the person happy or sad or upset or whatever, because then they're going to tell you, and at the end of the day, you never told me that, So she tells me stuff. She tells me stuff all the time that pisses her off. It pisses me off that she tells me, but I got to deal with it. And it's either I know, which is at least one step, or I change it, or, whatever. But something is happening to where that's not happening again or all the time or constantly. So that's how we stay in love. We always try to make sure that like if we have time, we always like either, go out to eat or go to like a bar and have a few beers or go to the movies or go do something interesting. Like we always try to do something.
Or sometimes we just set up stuff here at the house.
Yeah.
Like we've played beer pong here at the house, just us two. We've bought different tall boys and like did that challenge where we have to like drink them and then guess which drink was which beer. And we did that with the wines too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a constant like dating each other, I think.
Yeah.
And it works for us.
Yeah, that's basically what we do. And then having your own hobbies. She has like her podcast and her editing and her knitting and stuff that she does, or like what else do you do?
Work.
That she has a little.
Oh, I like reading.
She likes to read. She likes to watch her shows, just stuff like that. And me, I like to do like my woodworking. I like to like work on my truck or clean stuff or fix stuff or watch my shows or whatever. We both have our own things that we like to do separate. We have our things that we like to do together. You can't do everything together because as soon as that moment comes that you're not together doing something together,
you don't feel lost.
Yeah. You feel lost. You feel like you got like somebody else is doing something they're not supposed to. Like I'll tell her anytime, like, you want to go hang out with your friends or whatever. Like there have been times where we made plans and something came up and like, instead of me getting mad that something came up, it's like, go do that. Go have fun. And I genuinely meant it. And at the end of the night, it's not like she's going to come home and I'm going to be mad at her because she went to go do it, even though I told her she could go do it. No, it's like, go do it. Have fun. You can do things together, but not always. Keep it separate too. And always have your time to yourself. She doesn't like to have time to herself, but she gets her time to herself. And she doesn't like to admit that it helps, but it does.
It does.
So,
it does.
Next question.
All right. So the next one came from Vero Estrada, who was also a guest on this podcast.
Uh-huh.
Her question is, she has 3 questions. One of her questions was, what makes a relationship work? Which I feel like we touched on with the last question. So her next question is, what's your favorite thing about each other? You could go
first. Why do you do all that? Oh my God. Back up. Give me my space.
What's your favorite thing about me?
There are a lot of favorites I have about you, but then I hate them. I mean, I don't necessarily hate them. I don't like them. So she constantly wants to share stuff and give stuff and want the same in return. And I'm not used to that. So like it bothers me, I guess. Like say for instance, like when we're making food or when we're eating and you're like, do you want this? And I'm like, yeah, I want that. And then you're like, okay, well, do you want this? And I'm like, yeah, I want that. But then you like keep asking me if I want this. And it's like, why not ask me all of that at once?
So you don't,
hold on, I'm talking. So it's like, I love that she's so generous and that she wants to make sure that you get what you ask for and what you want. But all at the same time, it's like, she should know what I want. And yes, I might want to switch it up sometimes. But if that's the case, ask me everything at once. Like, she tries to cater too fucking much. Too much. To where she's asking you 10 questions. And in the end, all you get is a bun and a hot dog. You see what I'm saying? That's all I was wanted in the end was a cheeseburger. And you asked me 10 different things about this cheeseburger. And you could have known everything in 1 minute, but you instead took like 8 minutes to ask me all this stuff that you could have known in 1 minute, and we could have been eating already.
So let me tell you my thought process. I'm making the food. We'll take the cheeseburgers, for instance. I'm putting it together. Then I open the fridge. Do you want mayo in it? Go put the mayo on. Open the fridge again. Oh, mustard. Do you want mustard? No. Yeah. Okay, put it back in the fridge. Ketchup? Nope. Put it back in the fridge.
But every time she's gonna ask me if I want mustard. She knows I hate mustard, but she's gonna ask me every time, you want mustard? No, I don't like mustard.
I guess it's just I talk the way I text.
And we get into arguments over that.
Mustard?
No, just you asking me all the options all the time. And
Oh,
she hates it because she's like, I'm just trying to be nice and get you everything you want. But she doesn't understand it's nagging because you asked me one question, I gave you an answer. You asked me another one, I gave you another answer. You asked me another one, I gave you another answer. Now you ask me 5, 6 more times different things, and I gotta give you an answer every time. When you could just say, "What do you want on your burger?" And I can tell you, "Oh, I want
that is
ketchup,
true.
lettuce, and tomato." And she, but even then, do you want mayo? No, I just told you all I wanted was ketchup, cheese, lettuce, and tomato. Yeah, but we got mayo too, and we got this, we got that, we got this, we got that. Do you want any of that? No. And then she wants to get mad at me. Well, I'm just trying to be nice and trying to give you what you want. And it's like I already told you what I want. And then she'll do this thing like when we go to go get fast food or something, she'll I don't know why. 5 minutes before we're at the place, what do y'all want? We'll tell her. And then we get to the place, what do y'all want? Why ask me 5 minutes ago if you just gonna ask me again because you forgot? You should have just waited until we got there and then asked me.
But it's gotten to the point where he's like, don't answer your mother until we get to the window.
Because she'll be like, what do y'all want? You're not gonna remember. So just ask us when we get there. Okay.
I'm laughing so hard because it's so true. That's how I am. But I mean,
don't tell me, oh, this is what you want to marry and this, that. Like that shit need to change. Because that alone will kill anybody.
You can't die on me. So I think you still haven't said what your favorite thing
I told you.
That all sounded
My favorite thing is that you're so caring and you're so much of a catering person, but you do it too fucking much. It's too much. You have a kind heart, but you need help sometimes. That's my favorite thing about her, but it's a bad thing too.
Which was her second question. What's the least favorite thing about each other's way of being / habits? So you answered both in that one shot. So now it's my turn to answer. My favorite thing about you is you've embraced my wild side, like the way I am.
Which is?
Like you just described it. Like,
so she's copying me.
No, I'm saying the way you okay, so.
You like that I allow you to be you.
Yes, thank you. And I love that you're able to understand me because just this moment where I couldn't find the words and you basically said them. My most favorite thing about him is that
she just said that was her most favorite
I know, but it's the only thing is that because the two things I just said is how you are with me, but things about you is the way you're not afraid to be yourself. And he's the same way in front of my parents, in front of my friends, in front of me, in front of the boys. It's not like he's going to change the way he is because of who's around. And that's my favorite thing about you.
It's also a bad thing though, too.
Why?
Because you don't like me to be myself sometimes.
What do you mean?
Like if I want to go cut somebody out, oh, don't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's my least favorite thing.
See how long it took her?
Because you're not afraid to stand up with what you think is right. But my least favorite part is you. But then again,
it can be too much.
It could be too much.
In your opinion?
Yes. But you've turned to me and you'll say, if you weren't here or if the boys weren't here, I would have done this, and that. But I feel like that's because that was the fighter in you before we got together. Where now that you're the family man, you've toned it down because you're a family man.
I've toned it down, but I ain't changed it because I'm not going to change myself because that's who you fell in love with.
Yeah. Last question that came in is from Dixie, who's a listener. What's the biggest challenge in your relationship? The dogs. Just kidding. My biggest challenge is trying to fight for his attention with this one.
Shame, right?
Just kidding. I want to say, I think the biggest challenge in our relationship is coordinating time for and with each other because of our different work schedules and because of everything else that's going on around us. It's hard to make that time for each other. That's the challenge.
Wouldn't say it's hard to make that time for each other. It's just hard to decide on when that time comes on what to do to be able to spend time with each other.
So then what would you say is the biggest challenge?
I would say trying to match each other's feelings.
What do you mean?
So there's a lot of times where she wakes up and she's happy. And there's sometimes where I wake up and I'm just sad. And it's not because of her. It's not because something she did. It's just because of just something of how I'm feeling. Maybe things that are going on that is normal to go on. It's normal to happen, but it just affects one person more than it does the other. That's what I would say is trying to match each other's feelings because there could be times where I'm happy and you don't necessarily feel the happiest. And it's not because of me. It doesn't have to be because of me. It's just how you feel that day. Trying to match each other's feelings and get the same out of that day with each other. It's not always the easiest.
Do you feel like our difference in cultures and backgrounds and stuff has been a challenge?
Yes, that's always going to be a challenge because everybody is raised differently. Nobody's raised the same. Even though they might have similarities, they're not the same. So things that I've gone through might affect me now more than things that you've gone through affect you now. Or, it just depends. And that's when you just gotta like kind of like push yourself to make every day a good day, even though you might not feel like it's a good day because you're feeling down and out. But you don't want that to rub off on everybody else.
I think at the beginning when we first started dating, my biggest challenge was being vulnerable with you.
Yeah.
I was very, very closed off, and you like knocked that wall down.
No, it took a while.
But now that I am open and vulnerable with you, now that I've gotten to that point, not necessarily that I was never comfortable with you, it's just me because of my past. It took a while, and that's the part he was very patient with me about. Now it's like I'm able to communicate some things that I feel because of my past with him, and he'll understand like he needs to just give me space, or he'll come in and be like, and ask what I need, or just hold me and let me cry it out. And I appreciate you for that, baby.
I appreciate you for everything that you do and every day that you're in my life, even though you piss me off.
I can't wait to hear your vows if how honest you were with the proposal on how I make you happy, how I make you mad. I'm just excited of what you're gonna say in the vows.
That is to be defined. Anyway,
last time we suggested the song for them to jam out to was the Method Man song. So this time I'm using jam out on purpose because of how much you made fun of me last time.
who?
Who what?
Jam out. Oh, see, I had a moment like her where I had to figure out what she was talking about.
I'll let you choose the song this time.
No.
Why?
I don't got no song. She didn't tell me nothing about this, so now she want me to just come up with a song.
I do it with all my guests.
Yeah, well, you do it this time with your guests.
You were.
You suggest a song.
So what's a song you would? I've already suggested two songs.
I don't have a song to suggest. Like you just threw this out of nowhere.
I know.
So I don't have anything.
What's one song?
What did I just say to you? Like that's another problem. I'm telling you, I don't have nothing, and you still like, oh, well, what's one?
Okay,
what's one?
I think it should be "Beyond" by Leon Bridges. I think Bridge.
You can't suggest a song you don't know who it's by.
You know who I'm talking about and what song I'm talking about, though. Leon Bridges, "Beyond."
Okay, that's a good song. It's a great song.
It's one of our songs. We have like 2, 3.
Yeah, because I'm constantly hearing, this is our song. And I'm like, that's a different song than the last one.
Do you want to say anything else before we close it out?
No, it's just great being able to explore our feelings, inform the world of what we may feel. And some people might agree, some people might not. And just showing people, like, don't be afraid to be yourself. Not everything that we're saying here is right or wrong. It's however you take it, be yourself and everything else will come. But maybe it brings a lot of people to think that, like, wow, I can't be myself in this relationship. So is it really worth it? And that is you all's decision on whether you stay in that relationship or not or whatever. But we're just letting you know what works for us. Like I said, everybody's different. So what works for us might not work for you all. So Just know that the one thing that keeps us together is every day, even though we say we know each other, every day we learn something new about each other. Every day we try to make sure that it's different from the last and better from the last day. So that's one thing that keeps us going. And I think that that's something that everybody should strive for in their relationship is to make every day as good as you can possibly make it. Yeah, just remember the little things that you do for each other. They're never noticed until they're not there anymore. So keep doing them. Things will look up.
Well, thanks, baby.
Why are you doing that with your lips?
All right. Well, you heard it. So, with that, thanks for rocking with us until our next episode. Bye.
Bye.